Today, from Iraq, it's makhlama, a traditional Iraqi breakfast that's as easy to make as it is delicious, and it'll be on your table in under 30 minutes. So let's get started. As I mentioned a moment ago, makhlama is a traditional Iraqi dish made primarily for breakfast. Ground beef or lamb, onions, garlic, some warm spices, tomatoes, and eggs. Very easy and delicious. So let's start out by browning some ground beef. As I said earlier, you can use lamb for the dish as well. I added some olive oil here because I used a fairly lean package of ground beef today just to be able to control some of the fat content. Add the beef to the pan and begin breaking it up. Just keep breaking it up as it cooks. We're not specifically looking to brown the meat here, just cook it most of the way through. Now while your ground meat continues to cook, let's move on to the rest of the ingredient preparation. We're going to start out by dicing up some either white or yellow onion into fairly small dice. You don't have to be precise here, we just don't want to bite into any really large pieces. Once you've finished with the onion and set them aside, we're going to dice up 3 or 4 cloves of garlic, depending on the size of freshness of your cloves. Again, we want a fairly small dice here. No one really wants to bite into a large piece of garlic first thing in the morning. We're also going to add a half of a jalapeno just for a little bit of heat. You can omit this or add a different pepper of your choice. Red pepper flakes make a good substitution here. Next, we're going to chop up the root end, the white part of a green onion, just for a little added onion flavor. We'll slice up the green part to use as garnish a little later in the dish. Now that the meat is cooked through, it's time to add the spices. We've put together a spice mixture of a teaspoon of cumin, a teaspoon of smoked paprika, a teaspoon of allspice, and a teaspoon of salt. We've also added a tablespoon of turmeric. A touch of cinnamon could also be added here, but we chose not to add it today. Stir in the spices to coat the meat and to bring out the natural oils in the spices. These oils can burn, so keep an eye on them, but we're only going to cook them for about 30 seconds or so. So after that 30 seconds, you can add the onion, garlic, and pepper mixture. Mix all that together and cook it for about 1 minute. After this minute or so, you can add in your tomatoes. Many recipes use grape tomatoes or sliced Roma tomatoes. We chose to use crushed tomatoes today. You can use canned whole tomatoes or tomato sauce as well. Stir that in and let it cook for about 5 minutes. I felt like the sauce was a bit too thick at this point, so I added some water. In retrospect, I should have added just a little less water. So let this cook for about 5 minutes, as I said, and then once you're done with that, add cilantro leaves or parsley, whichever one you happen to have, and let that cook for another minute or so. Now make some small divots in the sauce and add your eggs one at a time, being careful not to break them. I only made a small portion today, but this can obviously be made to feed a crowd. This might remind you of shakshuka. Shakshuka is a Tunisian dish that I made in an earlier video. It's more pepper-based and completely vegetarian. Once you've added your eggs, cover the eggs and cook them until they're done to your liking. These cooked about 4 minutes. For me, there's nothing better than this. Cutting into that egg yolk and having it break into the rest of the dish. It just adds such a richness to the dish. Thank you for watching, and please check out these other videos.